Hello there, and welcome to another episode of BION Sounds. Finally, we have the last Tom Delonge guitar. This is the Starcaster that came out, I believe, last year, if I'm not mistaken. This is a 2024. So, again, a little bit of an evolution from the other two guitars. So he started with the Strat, then passed on to the ES333, which you guys can watch the other videos, probably around here somewhere. If you're interested in taking a look at those guitars. So again, a little bit more inspired on the 333. This is a guitar that was basically introduced in the 60s by Fender. So the Starcaster originally had the wide range humbuckers. It came originally with two humbuckers and a different shape of headstock. So this is almost like a mashup between the 335 and the Strat. So a little bit of both worlds here. You have the original 70s kind of headstock shape, which I love, and the semi-hollow body, almost like the 333. Again, one pickup, one volume knob. This one, differently than the 333, has the treble bleed on the volume. I don't know why the 333 does not have one, but the new Strats have. I believe that the original Strats did not have the treble bleed as well, but I think it's very interesting and it's very usable to have a treble bleed there. That way your sound, when you back up the volume, your sound doesn't go like a darker tone or anything like that. It gets it holds that kind of top end and very clear and open sound. This is a maple body with the center block, just like the 333. Differently than the Strat, this one has the roasted maple neck, which I really enjoy. I really think it's an evolution on guitars in some sort of way. I know it's not for everybody, but I really enjoy, not only color-wise, that I think it's way nicer than, you know, your regular maple neck, but it's a little bit more stable as well, especially like traveling and stuff like that. This, you know, torrefied wood really helps with intonation and everything else. You remove a little bit of the possibility of it, you know, just in different temperatures and stuff like that, like shrinking and expanding. So very nice addition to this guitar. So a little bit of the specs on this one. This one has the SH5 humbucker, which I believe that it was basically made for this guitar. Again, a little evolution from first the Invaders, then the Dirty Fingers, and now the SH5s. I kind of prefer this over the other two. I think that the other two are kind of too hot. I'm probably a little bit more used to a more classic style humbucker. So again, you have the stop tail, like Gibson style, from the 333. On this one, you do have the locking tuners, which helps a lot as well with you not having to worry too much or do too many rounds on the strings when you put it in. So a little bit faster change of strings. You have the same radius on the neck, so it's basically the same neck from the Strat, but this time torrefied. You do have Tom's back plate, which is basically his signature, and then the little design there from Tom Delonge as well, although it's kind of upside down, but you got it. Love the color scheme that these ones came about, and as per Tom, these were supposed to be kind of modified, which is something that he started back then. I think during the self-titled probably was the first one that he actually kind of started modifying, and then through Angels and Airwaves and, you know, the new Blink-182 stuff, you have several different guitars and concepts and designs that he added. So the idea is that this is more like a blank canvas that you can do whatever you want to it. Love the matte finish. Some of them came with black hardware instead of chrome. I kind of like the chrome a little bit better, but you know, it is what it is. Depending on the color that you get a different scheme of, you know, colors on the hardware as well. So again, same process here. We're gonna swap the strings, make sure that the guitar is intonated correctly, and we'll take that to the desk so we can go through the sounds. So here we go. Okay, so this kind of tuners, so they have the regular tuners on top where you actually tune the guitar, and then they have this locking system in the back, which basically you can loosen up in order to remove the strings from where they are. So you just turn them with your hands like this, and you open up, like you release the guitar in the front. So if we turn that around, now all the strings are loose. So basically what it is that you have a little mechanism inside of it that basically, so you have the hole for the strings right here, the strings go through, and there's a pin in the back that locks it in place. That way you don't have to do like too many rounds in order to tie up the string. Basically what you do is that you put the string through, you lock it in the back, and then you can just tie it from there. A little bit faster mechanism. You don't have to stress too much about making sure that, you know, the string is tight and it's not gonna go anywhere. Also, something else that I think is kind of genius on this guitar is that if you pay attention, you're gonna see that the three first tuners are a little bit taller. So you have those three strings basically in a different angle from the ones in the back. The ones in the back are a little bit shorter, which, you know, helps with the angle of the strings, especially going through the string tree. It kind of makes sure that, you know, the angles of the strings around the nut are going to the right direction. To be very honest, I am very happy and pleased with this guitar and the way that they thought out and whatever they did in order to make this guitar come true. Kudos to Fender and kudos to Tom Delonge on this project. Amazing. there we go. New strings in, ready for, you know, some intonation and then a little review. All right, so the guitar is ready. I did have to intonate the guitar a little bit better because it came with 9s from the factory, I think 9 to 46 or something like that. So I did have to, you know, just adjust a little bit. Guitar is ready. So I wasn't sure of which song to do for a few different reasons. First of all, this came out basically last year together with a new album. And although I really enjoyed the new album, I really thought that the guitars are too far behind for my taste. Drums are super overproduced. So the songs are good, although, sorry Tom, but I have a thing with California. I think it's a great album, and I do enjoy more of the sound, like recording wise, of that album as well. It's a little bit more organic. The guitars are a little bit more in your face. So I was, you know, going back and forth. Like, I did What's My Age Again for the Strat because it's, you know, it's What's My Age Again and it's the Strat, so it's from the right time. Then I did Down for the self-title and the Yes 333, which makes a lot of sense. And then this guitar was kind of floating around and I was juggling, like, should I do edging? I really wanted to do a Boxcar Racer song, but it wouldn't fit with this guitar. It was a little bit complicated for me to decide. I am gonna do edging. I am gonna try though to put the guitars in the right spot, a little bit closer again to the live sound and not necessarily the mix of the album, just because I think that the mix of the album, in my opinion, could have been better. We're gonna start with the cleaner sound. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the cleaner sound and the Marshall JCM 900, please go back and watch the first video on the Strat, because that's where I explain exactly how it's going on. Yes, we're using the aux box with the 4-cable method, and the cleaner sound will be something like this. And that's on full volume. If I pull a little bit of that volume down, I really enjoyed the treble bleed because it doesn't allow the guitar to go too muddy. So for clean sounds, for instance, you can play a little bit more with the volume, which I really enjoy, taking a little bit of that edge out for something like... And then differently than the other guitars, this one, even on max, it doesn't overpower the guitar, which I really enjoy. It's not a very hot pickup, so there you go. I think this is a more proper guitar in a way, like closer to what I'm used to. So something like... That's on max. If you take a little bit of that volume out, it doesn't take too much even of the overall volume, but it kind of clears up a little bit, which I really enjoy. And then going through our more distorted sound on that case, at full volume, it would be something like... If we take a little bit of that volume. Again, very simple guitar, not much to stress about. You know, having just one volume and just being able to play with that volume. So no way to get wrong with this guitar whatsoever. Out of the three, I would say it's probably the best investment money-wise. The ES333s are super expensive, although now they're starting to, you know, back down price again after this was released. I think that people were starting to understand that this is even a little bit better money-wise than the ES333. The Strats, I think that Fender was very smart on releasing the Strats first, and then when they basically started selling, and you know, people were getting them because, oh my god, you know, they re-released the guitar, and then they put this one out, and everybody that got the Strat was like, oh, really? Now? Like, I just invested the money here, but kudos to Fender, I guess. So there you go. This is the Starcaster. Thank you guys so much for watching all those 3 videos. Although I still have one more that I'm gonna put out probably next week with a comparison of all 3 Tom Delonge guitars. And we'll go a little bit like back and forth. I'm probably gonna record like a little part of a song that we can play back and forth, and I can play all 3 guitars in different parts. That way we can, you know, try to see the differences between one and the other. Again, this guitar will be posted for sale after that. I am really thinking about keeping the ES333, but we'll go through that on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for coming. You guys are amazing, and I wish you all the best. I hope that you guys are enjoying your lives, and go out and buy a Fender Starcaster. You won't regret it. See you guys on the next one. Ciao.